So this girl goes by It's Imperial. She's on TikTok, and basically she is a storytime TikToker, but she specifically talks about stripping. So if you watch this video here, she's talking about how her dad left and she hadn't seen him in a long time, and she ended up stripping at a private party, and her dad was there.
I follow this 18-year-old stripper on TikTok, but she doesn't work in clubs, only private parties. And one time, her dad, who abandoned her when she was 14, came to the party she was working at. That would be rough. Sounds like a poorly written plot out of a super stigmatizing television series. And one time, this girl put on lotion so the pole was slippery, and then looked at the girl I followed and was like, so the girl I followed danced for her dad all night. It's possible, but in my experience, the other strippers tend to be pretty nice. And it sounds like there's a lot of stripper dads hanging out at these parties. But also, wives and girlfriends are always trying to come in and stab her and fight her and throw perfume bottles at her and stuff. Well, usually bouncers stop that kind of stuff from happening, but maybe the company she works for just isn't that safe. Or she doesn't go here.
So basically, that's the TikTok that kind of started the whole, that's kind of suspicious. That's weird. And it kind of snowballed from there, where she ended up lying that she was trafficked into the stripping industry at 17. But then the stuff just didn't add up.
The truth, or do you think that some of her stories have been made up, or at least not her stories?
I'm so glad you asked this question. Credentials? I was following her up until yesterday. I actually didn't know that this wasn't an acting point of view kind of thing. I thought that it was all just crazy stories that could possibly happen. No, I don't believe any of it. I don't. No. I believe it could happen. Yeah, all of those stories definitely had happened, and that's why I was following her. I was enjoying the stories that other people had gone through, and maybe they were sending her for her to reenact. And then that whole 2-part apology of her explaining everything came out, and I don't believe it.
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of thought it was maybe a joke or something. And then she released this apology, quote unquote, video where she talked about how she was trafficked at 17 and decided to stay in the industry. But there are just a lot of holes in her story.
Hello, in this very nice video, I will be asking a series of questions about this girl, also known as It's Imperial. Again, no accusations, just questions. Let's begin. So in quite a few videos such as this one, Imperial explains that she only works at private parties, not clubs. However, in this clip,
a lot of clubs, they don't care about the body type. A lot of things happen at the clubs. You need to be able to control yourself sometimes. It depends on the club, really.
she talks about her experience at different clubs. Clubs with an S. So question 1, does she only do private parties or work at clubs as well? Now my next question involves these shoes, which made their first appearance on May 29th, all the way up until November 16th. So my question is, if she's had them for that long, why do they look unused? Now my next question is about the many stories that she has on her page. She claims to have seen her father while dancing, seen her teacher while dancing, had human feces thrown at her, had a wife try to stab her, had another wife break her nose, had a guy undress her on stage, had a lady sniff her out by the perfume she was wearing, had a guy pull a gun on her, and security pulled out too, and had another wife shatter a perfume bottle on stage. So my question is, how did all this happen in only a year and a half? Just curious. Again, not accusing, just asking.
So yeah, basically her defense from here is that she was trafficked, and then people looked into it. There was a Rolling Stone article, and it's just super offensive to anyone who was trafficked and actually did experience it. What I'll do here is read the commentary. It says, lots of people are questioning the point of my post. This is the point. The one thing to lie about being exotic dancer, but her stories are all about violence towards dancers, specifically her, and just adds to the stereotype of exotic dancers. She's harming the community that she's a part of with all these lies and stories. It's not just about the accent, it's about all these things added together. So, of course, you guys can form your own opinions, but personally, I do agree that she most likely lied about most things. I'm sure some stuff did happen, but she faked an accent at the start and said she was Australian, which was kind of weird.
Okay, let's talk about it. First of all, this isn't me trying to get pity from anyone. Please don't do that. I just wanted to, I guess you guys want an explanation. I never thought I would have to. I haven't talked about this with anyone except legally having to talk to someone about it. But, so I started dancing at age 17. I was taken advantage of as a minor, and I was manipulated into becoming a stripper. Yes, I stuck with being a stripper. Yes, I still love my job, but I stuck with being a stripper because it's what I know. It's how I know how to get good money. And no, I don't think this is okay. I don't think it's okay to take advantage of an underage person and manipulate them into a business like this. I just never talked about it because it's not something that I'd like to talk about. But we're talking about it, so if you have any questions, you can ask.
The situation is hard for me because I'm often of the view that you should believe victims, but there's just so much stuff that just doesn't add up.
Okay, let's talk about it.
All right, we can talk about it then. I do apologize to my community. I did not speak up sooner and use my platform, and that is on me. So I am sorry to sex workers for not doing that sooner. But it's Imperial. We need to talk. You have a platform of 1.9 million people and you're using it to tell incredibly stigmatizing stories. It's incredibly performative and you're bringing great harm to the people that you're trying to imitate. We've come to you personally and you've dug your heels in, so now it's time for me to speak up, and I'm not as nice as everybody else in that manner. What you're doing now is skewing the line between sex work and sex trafficking, therefore bringing greater harm to my community and to actual victims of sex trafficking, and children at that matter. It is inappropriate and it is unacceptable and it needs to stop.
This girl was the first to call her out and actually spoke to Rolling Stone about what's going on. They did reach out to her for comment and she did not respond to them. And basically what kind of came back to bite her in the ass was the fact that she would tell stories about how she only works private parties. This is what she said multiple times, that she only works private parties. But then she'd tell stories about working in a club. And so that was just kind of... these things just didn't add up. The article explained that if you're being coerced into dancing and being trafficked, then it's super dangerous, but it doesn't seem to be that that's actually what the case is. And not only that, but people who know her have said, no, this is not true. As usual, here's some stuff to back up what I'm saying. Clearly, her own videos are evidence against what she's been saying. Just have a look.
Jimmy?
No, I don't.
Club just to look around and see if you fit in, if that makes sense. But I think a big question that you should ask yourself when thinking of becoming a stripper is if you can mentally handle it, if that makes sense. You get a lot of...
So yeah, she could have just come clean and said, hey, I made some of this stuff up. It was just fun stories for me, but she chose to go this route instead. And it's basically a slap in the face to sex workers and people who have been trafficked.
People are upset about the video I made, saying that I suspect that It's Imperial isn't actually a stripper and is just using super stigmatizing stripper stories to gain clout. Let's talk about it a little bit. Have jealous girlfriends ever shown up at the strip club and tried to fight a stripper? Absolutely. Has a stripper dad ever shown up at the club where their child is working? Very likely. Has a stripper ever had human feces thrown at her while performing? Maybe. Has any one performer had all of these horrible things and then some happen to them within their first year of stripping? I hope to fuck not. The reality is, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. And if you guys really believe and care about this girl, you should be much more concerned about the company she's working for than me coming for her credibility.
A couple of other strippers have also called her out on what she's doing, and still she's developed a following off of a bunch of lies. And it's just so upsetting because human trafficking is so real and it's everywhere. I don't know. So a number of people who know her in her real life had reached out to this account to let them know exactly what had been happening. So if you are concerned about actual human trafficking, you can visit the National Human Trafficking Hotline. You can connect with support for survivors, or you can report a tip. You can call them at 1-888-373-7888. You can text 233-733, or you can also chat online at humantraffickinghotline.org. Basically, what human trafficking is modern day slavery. It occurs when there's force used to coerce a person into engaging in commercial sexual acts or getting labor against their will. This is often something that happens to a lot of people who are trying to immigrate to the United States or Canada, and they end up being sold into the sex trade, which is really unfortunate and very illegal. But there is a lot of work being done to try and stop this. If you're concerned about people possibly being trafficked, they often appear malnourished. They show signs of physical injuries and abuse. They avoid eye contact, social interaction, especially authority figures. They also seem to adhere to scripted or rehearsed responses when they interact. They might work excessively long hours, seem to be living at their place of employment. And if you're a hotel worker or you see something like this, they often check into hotels with older males, referring to those males as their boyfriend or daddy, which is like slang. And they can sometimes get branded with certain tattoos. And then you can also see small children serving in like a family restaurant. This can also be a sign that someone has been trafficked, which is really sad. While trafficking seems to be very hush-hush, it's often quite out in the open. We just don't see it as wrong. I'm going to put in a video here about how hairstylists can recognize it.
Hey, so what are we doing today?
I don't know.
I want him to be black. Black color and black eyeshadow and red lipstick.
Well, I mean, she could decide her own.
No, I want it to be black. I want it to be black, no more blonde.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, due to the pandemic, we do have to have you wait outside.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to go all black? Because that's, just do as he says. Don't make trouble for me. Well, I mean, it is your hair. Just do as he says. Okay, all right. Go to the bathroom and put a smock on, okay? I'll meet you right back here.
Hi, I'm with a man and I need help.
Okay, is he available for a friend?
No, he's not.
Okay, right now are you in a secure area?
Yes, I am.
Okay, call 911 and the police will come out there to help, okay?
Okay, thank you.
While there is still a lot of work to be done, there is an app called trafficking, and it's a phone app, and it uses crowdsourced snapshots of hotel room to help law enforcement locate victims and prosecute sex traffickers. So if you do stay in a hotel, you can download this app. You can just take a picture of your room and upload it, and you can be active in helping out with what's going on in the world. Something that's also really important to know about human trafficking is it's probably not what you think it looks like. A lot of those viral things that are saying, oh, this is a new tool from traffickers, they're not real.
I want to talk to you guys about the newest tool that sex traffickers are using to lure their victims, which is a phrase that should give you pause for concern whenever you see or hear it. This phrase, the newest tools human traffickers are using, has become way too popularly associated with a lot of misinformation. Unfortunately, sex trafficking is a serious problem all across the world, but because everybody's focusing on it right now, given the talks of Pizzagate, Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, all of those individuals, there is so much bad information. You're going to attach a zip ties to your side view mirror or put an open bottle of honey on top of your car. Unfortunately, this is not new for us. We do this all the time. During the war on drugs, it was, this is the newest street drug all the kids are trying. Say, why does it matter? Because worst case scenario, it's not true, but when you spread all of this bad information, it drowns out the actually useful information about how to prevent human trafficking or signs that somebody's stalking you. When you fill it with all of this bad info, nobody can find what's actually good information.
Yeah, so those are a lot of the options and the places that you can get information about trafficking. And yeah, you just do your part. You can even just download that app and you can help. So yeah, this video kind of delves into a couple deeper topics, but a lot of people did say they wanted to hear more about this kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If you're interested in more similar to this kind of video, let me know. If you'd prefer more psychology-based things, let me know as well. And it'd be awesome if you could subscribe and like the video for engagement. Thank you. I also wanted to say, please do not send any hate or harassment to anyone mentioned in this video. And everything is alleged. Nothing is for sure.